Okay, in this video I'm gonna show you a different process than what I did before. Still, the same process can be used as what I showed in converting system fonts into satin, but I think this process works quite a bit faster, and still there are certain aspects what takes a little bit time, but let's get started. So I'll first go and remove here this text for a moment so that we're not cluttering up too much on the screen. And so I have here, as you can see in my layers and objects panel, this is the image where I'm starting with. Then what I did is, well, I can delete this one also, that won't really matter. That way we keep everything as clean as possible. Okay, so the starting image, and what we're gonna do is first a path trace bitmap. Then we playing with the threshold that we are getting a nice clean image. Once we are happy with the settings, then we just go and hit apply. And so now I can go and drag it over, and you can see in the layers and objects panel that this is a path, and oh, it seems to be slow responding on selecting the image. I can now go and delete my image because I don't need it anymore, but I'll just go and turn off the visibility. So then my next step, what I did is Inkstitch has got a great tool, and you would have said, why didn't we use that in the trace bitmap and use the center line trace? Well, the center line trace does give a little bit of a different type of trace than what Inkstitch does. The Inkstitch one gives a way nicer trace because it will create a line from the one intersection up to the next intersection. So everything from one intersection to the next intersection become separate line segments. So how do we do that? Really simple. We selecting our object, and then we go extension, Inkstitch tool stroke, and fill to stroke. And then we set our parameters. Sometimes depending on the quality of the image and how the intersections are, some of these settings you may have to readjust, but I found these settings, they worked well on this one. And then I'm gonna go and hit apply. And then it takes a little bit of time for Inkscape to go and process all the information on where all the intersections are and creating all the lines. And there it is. And then we can close out of this window, and then that center line that should be selected. And as you can see, if I'm selecting this one, we can see here in the bottom left corner that this is a fill object. So that is the trace bitmap, and we don't need that one anymore. So I'll turn that one off, and now we go here, and we will see when it is selected here that it is a path center line. And we can see there are lots of objects in that group, and that is fine. So then what we do is we will go and select. So what I find the easiest, because the center line, what is created, sometimes there are a few little spots and they need cleaning up. And because everything is in a group, we first have to enter in the group if we are using the select button. And in order to do that, then we have to double click. But what I found is that if you're selecting the node select tool, you will be able to go directly into the group, and there is an extra little line what needs to be deleted. So I selected the two nodes and I'll press the delete, and here you can see I'm having two separate paths. So I will go here and join two of the nodes, and there I will also shift select and join the two nodes. So sometimes there are a few little things but need tidying up, and as you can see, now that the node select tool is selected, we can see where it is connected and where it is not connected. And so we can here also select two of the paths by holding down the shift key. Oh, that was too many nodes selected. I just want to have only the two nodes right on top of each other there, and I'll hit join the selected nodes, and that way I can see that now my whole path going around the leaves here up to the flower top, they are all connected. Okay, so in that way there are a few adjustments what are being made. Then what I did is I changed the color. So I selected this one, gave this one a dark green stroke, and I wanted this one a dark green stroke, and this one. So we can hold down the shift key which ones we want to have changed onto specific colors, and let me go select that one too again, and this one, and then what we go and do, object, and we go and put all the same colors right away in a group, because you can see here in the layers and objects panel, those parts and pieces, they are scattered all over. So if we put them in a group, then they are all back together. So then what we can do is we'll go to the select tool, and I'm holding down the Alt key, and oh, that's not what I wanted. Edit, undo. Sometimes we have to press the escape button just to make sure that we are in the right mood and we are not. So now I'm holding down the Alt key and I'm dragging a line through all my line segments, and now they are all selected, and I will go and change the color on them, and they're the same thing, object, group, and then we'll go on to this side. So I'll first press the escape key to make sure I'm getting out of that, I'm not moving anything out of place. Then hold down the Alt key again, and I'm dragging. So whichever line segment I'm touching, that will be selected. And then hit a different color again. And I will go Object and Group. And we do the same thing here. I think I want to remove here a few nodes. I'll delete that segment, and I think I'll delete a few more nodes. Yeah, I think that looks better. So now I can go here. For that matter, I can hit the Shift key and select all of them. That way I can see with the nodes on that I have them all selected, and then go and change the color, Object and Group. And now I'll zoom out a little bit, and now I can go here with the select tool, and have to be a little cautious on how far you're drawing the box, that you're not drawing too many. And it is possible. Oh, why didn't it select? Okay, let's go first enter into the group then. I double clicked on the group. That is a kind of strange why it's not selecting. And I'm not gonna go and fiddle around too long in order to figure out why. So we can go and I'll hit the escape key for a moment, make sure I'm out of everything, and then I'll go and use the Alt key again and have my select button, and I'll drag around some of the places, and then I will see in a moment if I have everything selected. As long as it's touching something, that is what should be selected. And I think there is a little piece yet, and I'll change that to red. And as we can see, there are two little spots here yet. And let me select that one. Now I'm in the group. That is still okay. Now I think I have that one, and we'll make that one red. Okay, now I want to make sure that I'm selecting only all the red ones. So then what I will go and do is edit, select same, and I will go to the stroke color, and then I will go Object and Group. So now we have all our different colors set up and our different groups. Now what we will go and do is we select now I can go and ungroup the center line. So Object ungroup. So now I can see that now it becomes easier to select all my individual groups. There is one little spot that can be deleted, and there is most likely another tiny little object, and that can also be deleted. So now we have all our different groups. Now we go to the next process, and what I like using is the redwork, and that is extension ink stitch tool stroke redwork. You have to be aware that the redwork bean stitch number of repeats, that should be at 0. And connect the lines below this distance. I have that at 1. The minimum path length is, I got it set at half a millimeter. And the redwork, the stitch length, I have that set at 1.6. And then I will go and hit apply. And then I can close out of here. And you will see if, because that was in a group, and that group was group number 3, that has become now an empty group. So that group number, that empty group, that can be deleted now without any problems. And as you can see here I have group 5. I will do the same thing, extension ink stitch tool stroke redwork. And like I'm doing this for each individual group separately, because otherwise it will start creating all the jumps and everything. And it can become, this way I keep the nicest pathing going without any problems afterwards. So then I close out of that one, and then I'll select this one, extension ink stitch tool stroke redwork, and we hit apply, and then close out of it. Then I'm selecting the dark green group, extension ink stitch tool satin oh no, I gotta go tool stroke, sorry, redwork, and hit apply again. And everything has changed, the color, the stroke width, but I'm okay with leaving it at that for now. That way you can easily see too that everything has been converted. And for some reason my reds I don't know exactly what is going on here. I thought I had selected, oh I know, because I went and, okay, I will have to do it this way, because previous when I went and selected by color, I accidentally also selected these rows with it. That is the final project already, so I have to just redo this for a moment. So I went now and selected this by itself by entering into the group, and I'm gonna go and group that. So now I have that group selected, and I will go again, extension ink stitch tool stroke and redwork, and we go and apply. And now we close. So now we can use, now we have the option, we can go now use this design, we can save it. You can save it this way, because that way you can use it as strictly as redwork. You can change quite easy the params for the top stitching into a bean stitch or a triple stitch, and then every path will have 4 stitches, or it can easily be converted into here, like I have it here, into a satin stitch. So how do we convert this now into a satin stitch? Well, that is the fun part of ink stitch. Also, we can go here to ink stitch, and we go to edit, and we select embroidery elements, and there I can select the running stitch, and I can go top stitching of the redwork, and then I can go here to the live preview, and there you can see it has now selected all the objects within that group what have those params, or the params of the top stitching for the redwork. Then I will go and hit apply, and I can close. Then I will go to my fill and stroke, to my stroke style, and I will set the stroke style to 1.2 millimeters and press enter. So now all my top lines are connected or selected, and they have the 1.2 mil applied, and they are still selected. While they are still selected, we will go to the extension ink stitch, tool satin, and stroke to satin, and there we have that all our top stitching from the redwork have been converted into a satin. And for the ones who don't know what redwork is, redwork, that means that every single pass will have 2 stitches, so everything is being connected, and it is almost the same as the outer route running stitch. But with the outer route running stitch, you can have that certain paths do not have a second stitching, no bottom stitching going on. So, but with the redwork, everything has with redwork, everything has 2 passes. Okay, then we go and grab the next one, and we do exactly the same thing. Ink stitch, edit, select embroidery elements, and what I like to do always is I go and use my live preview, then at least I can see before I go and apply that the right ones are selected, and I will go and hit apply and close out again, and then set my stroke width again 1.2 and press enter, and then extension ink stitch, tool satin, and stroke to satin, and it may all look a little weird, But the reason why that is because of the stroke width for the understitching. And the stroke for the understitching, that is a dashed line. So that is why the satin stitches, they will look a little strange. As I'm zooming in, I'll go to my node select tool, then I can, that is probably the understitching. And as you can see, I'll change here a few of the understitchings, and then you can see everything will start looking completely different. And that is only because of the stroke width. That is one thing they have a hard time with controlling, on how wide the lines are always showing up. So it is not necessarily an ink stitch thing. It can also be an Inkscape thing, what is giving some issues. But sometimes we have to deal with it the way it comes. So there you can see, by changing those stroke width, it starts looking a whole lot different. So, and then we do the same thing with all the others, and then let me think here. Oh yeah, then we should be all good. Like once we do it with all the others, I better be in the select, because I want to have the group selected. So I'm not going to go through those last few. This one is exactly the same as what I'm showing you. Oh, that should stay in place. I gotta make sure something is not selecting, and that again, that is because it is in the group. Let me think here. Okay. Now I have all that selected, and let me see if I put that in a group, object, group, and then pull that group out of it, and I should be okay by selecting it now, because I pull the group out of the group, and then it makes it so much easier to work with. So then the end result, as you can see here, we get all the running stitches going down the center. Everything is connected. The only thing what needs to be added here yet, and I'll show you that in the params, or in the params. Yeah, if you want to run it through the params, then you can set your satin stitches. But I'm just gonna go and with a default, and it is converted to a line to a satin, so it will take on automatically the default settings. So all we need to do now is we can go to the visualize to the simulator. It takes a little bit of time for it to load up. And the order that it is showing, that can easily be changed also within the sewing order. But there you can see, I'll turn on the jumps for a moment, because I was gonna go and tell you yet. The only thing between the two, between these three groups, like there, we did not go and apply a trim command. So we have to go into those groups and apply the trim command, and then everything should, for the rest, should show out without any problems. Everything goes continuous. As you can see here, the dark green, everything is connected with each other. Also, all the red satins, I can zoom in a little bit closer. We don't really see any imperfections that we are saying, hey, the stitch lines, they should be changed. The angle of the stitches should be changed. Everything looks fairly clean. So that is how easy and simple we can convert an image into a satin design, and we can save it also in the triple stitch. So then we have always two options right away available, and adjustments can easily be made. So I hope this has been informative for you, and have fun digitizing. Also, this one, all these satins, they could have been split up the same way as what I did in the converting of the system fonts into a satin, but as you could see, because this is all the same width satin, it becomes that much easier to work with, even though if we want to make adjustments on some of them, we can easily select individual satin sections, and we can convert individual satins back to a running stitch again. If we say we want this flower only around the outside on a satin, it is really easy to go and select those selected objects and only use those objects as a satin, and we can convert these inner lines easily back into a running stitch again. Or if there is somewhere and we want to have a motif in it, we can easily do that, because we have everything is as individual line segments, but everything at all times, all the red will be sewn continuous. So there can lots of options within a design when we're using the redwork option. Okay, thanks for watching, and have fun digitizing, and take care.